Oh no, we're out of storage. Whatever will we do? Hold on. So I have so much stuff that is just balance balancing right now. Okay. So pull up Discord. Order of operations today. Not good. Not good. So by the time I ever get around to these call-ins, because always gonna do it one day, have it in the thumbnail like for 4 more days and don't do it. So I don't know if people will call in. So we're chilling. I was finishing another piece. I'm on a roll. Okay. I'm on a fucking roll with Substack. I've just had so many things I've been contemplating for like a decade on, literally. And now I can kind of put it into words a little bit. So this was or is a piece that I will post tomorrow. Super basic, honestly, but sometimes I forget when I don't talk to people for a long time, like the natural reactions to things. This is one of my more provocative takes. And so I'm curious to hear what arguments those who believe evil exists, what those arguments are, per se. So, hello. Greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. Oh, so it's a boy. What does the devil look like? Tell me, Sean. I love this shit. Okay? I love this shit. Like, I have been experiencing so much cognitive dissonance in my little brain trying to like give everybody who believes in evil like a little chip, being like, okay, I guess like sometimes it's like I can't find one instance that is not a mental illness. I'm sure there's I'm sure there's something. I just haven't come up with anything. The devil looks like a goat. I look like a goat. So am I the devil? There used to be this goat. Fuck, what are those called? What's it called when you stuff an animal? I'm so sorry. There's a girl that on TikTok and Instagram who does don't even start, bitch. I gave you more than undivided attention. Like, can you not? You move one thing and the whole thing shakes. What's up, mom? Hi, baby. Want more food? I'll give you more food. Hold on. Oh, I forgot that I was cooking chicken because I shut the stove off and I just let it simmer. And I'm like, "Oh, that's what she wants." And then I have my super sleepy Dalmatian. Um, okay. I would definitely like someone to try and convince me that evil doesn't exist. Prove it. Do it. Do it. I think it's no evil or good. Yeah, there's a lot of we hear you low. Can you guys hear her? She's like doing this whole oh. It's just so great. I don't believe evil exists, but like also likes metal. Satanic panic. I wonder what it was like to grow up in that era. Should I call my dad? Dad, maybe I'll get drunk. Fuck it. There should be like drunk debates. That would be so fun. It's like after every 11 minutes or however long, have like a variety of topics. And then whoever wins the round, the other person's got a drink. I am the devil. God damn it. God damn it. Now, when I say that evil doesn't exist, that doesn't mean that I'm saying bad things don't exist. Just saying. It's like, yeah, horrible people exist, but are they horrible because they're doing something can't control? I don't know. We need to see the verdict for that woman killer. Wait. It was turned over to the, I guess in Texas, shockingly. It's not like a unanimous unanimous vote. It's majority, which is crazy. I don't know anywhere else that does it like that. I'm sure there are. Just, wow. So the judge, I guess they're turning it over to the judge to last time I checked, they turned it to the judge and the judge wanted them to go back and reevaluate. But I don't know if that happened yet or not. And they filed a motion. My bad. It's fucking brain. They filed the defense attorney filed a motion to why did he file a motion? Why do people file motions? Oh, because of what I was just saying, and, like, now it should be a unanimous vote. Somebody found something, some code where it technically in certain situations, finding the loopholes and shit. So, that went underway. Dude, that competency thing, just it's such a catch-22. Think about it. Let's say that you develop a psychotic psychosis. I think the hardest one to prove is at the time of the murder, they were what's the word they use? Incapacitated? Unaware of what they were doing. It's one of the hardest defenses to make, and it's not hard because there's no evidence. It's hard because idiots believe in evil, to be honest with you. Like, "Tori, how the fuck did you get there?" I know stuff. But he filed the motion for it. Yes. Are you done? I love how she, like, knocks. It's my dog. Anyway. The looks like a goat. So are we gonna see the verdict? Like I said, it's, I saw some of the stuff that you said when I was live or whatever about it, and none of it, in my opinion, my disagreeable opinion, none of it proved anything. Call in. Let's talk about it. Everything that you that I remember that you said was death or insanity, I think was the original question. And then I said, I don't know. And the reason I said I don't know is because it's a very complicated question. Loci. I'm not getting fucking up and down, bitch. Okay? 5 times. Do I look? This is how I know she can hear me. She pretends. Then it's like, that's the loudest bark ever. She's gotta be deaf. What, babe? Lay down. You're okay, mamas. You're okay. You're not gonna get the chicken. Your arms are too short. I can't. I can't. Lay down. I need a man. Quiet. Lay down. I sound like a chipmunk. Yeah. Oh. You're gonna like scream bloody murder. I already know. I already know. I'll try to finish my fucking thought. You said something, the death, insanity, whatever. And you said your justification was like, no, I can tell that he's fine. He's talking to his lawyer. Well, that's the point of competency. How do you know that he's not saying Donald Trump has a barbed wire around my foot? You don't, because you can't hear it. It's like, is he not allowed to ask questions? That's why to be deemed competent, you have to be able to actively work on your case during the trial. Good job, mamas. You're so good. So strong. Anyways, I think competency is absolutely a catch-22 because most people are like they can be actively psychotic there. Number 1. Number 2, just because somebody can answer yes and no questions. Do you know why you're here? Do you know what a jury trial is? Do you know what you're being convicted for? Yes, yes, yes. Like the amount of times I would try to converse, not even just with my family member, but others that I would meet when I would have to go on those like tours or whatever, and go like house to house. Anytime you try to make conversation, I always will say things like you need to ask them questions where they can give you a detailed answer that isn't yes and no, which is very difficult. Like, "Oh, do you like to go play sports?" Yeah. But they'll contradict right after, and you're just like, "Okay, this yes and no is not really going any why are you looking at me like that?" Don't make eye contact. Shit. With love. But anyways, so competency, it's like you can be actively psychotic. Your lawyer can know that you're actively psychotic. They know you're insane. I'm using that word. Okay. Can we just like use it? Like, is it that bad? I'm insane. Everybody knows behind the scenes that you're psychotic, but we want to get the show on the road. Okay. What am I going to do? Ask for another extension so you don't take meds? You're a lost cause. So let's, yep. Okay, great. Literally. Literally. That's it. What it should be is a whole nother dilemma because doctors, like, the issue in this country is that the psychiatrists that are really good are not, I don't wanna put this the wrong way. They're probably in, like, a private practice. I'll give you an example. My doctor, my psychiatrist, has, like, primarily some of the, like, the worst cases of ADD, I'm assuming. I just I'm assuming. But same people, whatever. And it's like to get somebody who specializes in schizophrenia, they w they one, wouldn't be getting paid enough, and most of them are treatment resistant. So it's like, who are you treating? Like, a ghost? It's funny, but it's not funny. One of the hallmarks of the disease, which it's not always the case, but a big hallmark that you're dealing with, like, a severe case, is that lack of insight that we always talk about. If you have insight, you're doing fine in some regard. You can go to outpatient, you might forget an appointment, but you do want to go. It's different. But my point to that is that, like, the people that need it the most, need treatment the most, they're not gonna seek it out. So, when we talk about psychiatrists that understand the disorder, it's like, I guess the ones that volunteer or work or rotate on the mental ward, but they're seeing different patients every hour, and then boom, they'll see another, like, influx. We don't have enough beds. So, most of the people that do get one, I think there's 8 beds. Sometimes they don't even have a mental health ward, it depends on where you are, but 8 beds, 7 of them are court ordered. So if you're not taking meds, they just discharge you. Maybe one day that will change. Could you imagine if, like, 30 years from now, it changed? That'd be so cool. In order for it to change, we'd have to get rid of the concept of people. It is so terrifying how biased court systems really are. Now, does this mean that if you get convicted of something that you're not gonna get a fair trial? No. I'm talking, like, in a really broad tense, is that the way that people ground their morality is kinda magical, and I don't mean that positively. If they feel like you look like you did it, which, by the way, lawyers tell you, "Do not smile, don't make any face, don't give them anything to judge you off of," which I find alarming. I do this, you do this, we all do this. "Oh, those crocodile tears? Okay." Okay. But then it's like, if they don't have a tissue at all, it's like, "Oh, these fucking crocodile tears, that's fake." It's always fucking fake. You won't be able to unsee it. Okay? But it's terrifying to think that not only can you lose your mind, and the closest thing to it would be, like, dementia. If you know somebody with dementia, think that times 1,000. 1,000. Think of it like a dementia patient mixed with Like, you have a newborn baby and you have a wild ass dog all in, like, one room. I don't mean to be I don't mean to dehumanize, okay? Like, dogs better. I'm just saying, like, it it's such a layered layered issue. One of the most I mean, it's, made me flip everything that I thought I knew. I don't know. But when you realize courts on, like, a fundamental level, the amount of bias that jurors, judges, bailiffs is that what they're called? God damn. Everybody is biased. And it's not like, "Oh, I was I projecting?" Okay. Most people can't do that. Do you ever stumble onto YouTube and people are just so adamant about their position like I am right now, but, like, on a dangerous level? Do you guys ever end up there? It's like, "You're so wrong, but, like, I can't fault you for having a strong opinion. I actually like that." See how it contradicts? It's like, "God damn it, bitch." The fact that your sentence is absolutely dependent on if that judge had lunch yet, I find it completely terrifying. Not to mention when you add in race on top of it, not to mention when you add in the fact that you're male on top of it, it just gets worse. And, there's actually a really fascinating study test that I'm sure you could still access. I can't remember if it was a Harvard test. You can Google it. I just like to see if my brain will recall it. There's, like, this test. When they'll flash you words, put it with the next thing. Be like, "Name the feminine traits." You're like, "Nurturing." Okay, woman. And then strong, woman. Sorry. Strong male, whatever. And you do it really fast. You try to do it timed, it's like that. But in that moment where you slip up, second, the moments you're like, "Oh, fuck." That's your bias, essentially. And they do it with race, they do it with oh my god, when I first did it, I forget what it was. It was something like like, granted, I've had a brain injury, so, like, that wasn't helping, but you had to, like, associate race with income levels or some shit. It was, like, tiered. I think it was tiered, what my brain's saying right now. And I'm just like, "White, poor." I think I grew up poor. Why? It fucked me up, all I'm saying, all I'm saying. I highly recommend it. You will be terrified. It's kind of fun. Should we do it right now? It'll be like, associate the ones with the wedding, bouquet, party, uh, working hours. Fuck. Like, that's not it. It's not it. Um, I forget what they rated it in terms of scale, like how accurate it is, but it's pretty high up there from I wouldn't be telling you about it if it wasn't, you know? But anyway, in the absence of what is and what is not, I think individual ideas are more powerful than collective truths write that down. Someone write that down. I think individual ideas are more powerful than collective truths these days. I can tell when I'm being delusional when a lot of people agree with me. You're like, "Whoa." I'm just kidding. Everybody just wants to be liked. Well, I woke up and I liked myself today. Your like was extra. We're drinking. This looks disgusting. I feel like I'm really behind. Don't talk shit about my boy, okay? Only normal one, okay? Thank you. I'm hopeful science will identify mental disorder in terms of, like, a definitive this neuron and that neuron. Yeah, I agree. But then it also brings up the question, if you medicate somebody and their really distressful symptoms go away, is it necessary to do, like, brain imaging scans? I don't know. If Neuralink can go in a brain and make somebody's, like, bipolar disorder, like, find a the homeostasis, I think that is insane, and what a beautiful time to be alive, honestly. Common sense is the new superpower of this changing era. Mm, yeah. Yeah, anytime I watch something, I'm like, "My dad would not agree with that." That's how I can ground common sense. What would my dad do? Would he absolutely roast me? Yeah. Yes, he would. But actually, sometimes, come to think of it, sometimes I think not my dad, because my dad's perfect, but too much common sense can lead to complacency. I'll die on that hill, which is another reason why I think evil is such a it's like a placeholder word. Somebody was like, "It's evil," because they could not comprehend juggling an entire system where lines do not meet. It's kinda like cognitive dissonance, except I don't know if I would call it a belief, like facts, too many facts without an a cohesive understanding, if you will. A lot of people can't operate in gray. The older I get, the more this to be true. It's like sometimes well, it's like you wanna be black and white on the right shit, you know? You don't wanna be an idiot. But then it's like sometimes what is it, like circular logic? Like how? I could elaborate on that, but I don't feel like it. I don't wanna get triggered. No, no, that's sacrifice your freedom. Take your joy, good people. Do you think the medications help someone assess reality clearly? Say their opinions are already sedated into so, no, they don't. The longer that somebody is in a psychosis, the harder it is to get them to, uh, understand it. Like, the way that I conceptualize it is that you have a brain filled with sand, and then you have a marble, which represents a thought, a delusion, if you will. Well, no, a thought. But let's say that thought rolls across and you find a connection there. My autistics, don't worry, okay? It's okay to find patterns. It's bad when it feeds a certain, like, belief that is probably bizarre on some level. You think your coworkers are trying to get rid of you. It's like on the surface, that's kind of believable, but Diane was late today, so now that means that you're gonna get fired? Probably not. But every time that marble creates that, like, a fixed false belief, it's like it indents in the brain, and so the amount of times that delusion comes up and it gets worse and worse the longer psychosis goes on, like, it compounds, if you will. But the harder it is to level it out. But insight, you either like, there was a theory that you should just force medication without getting their consent because there's, like, 30 that I'm making up numbers. It's, like, something below 50%, but it's also a theory, okay? It's not like they haven't tested for it, but they assume based on how effective medication is that, like, if you have 50% of people that have no insight, that if you inject them in that first psychosis, they have, like, a 30% chance of, uh, gaining the insight. Uh, but that comes down to things like autonomy autonomy and consent. Um, and even though in the moment you so desperately want them to do that, I kind of think that could cause more problems because getting admitted to 5150 or whatever is traumatic, you know? It's like, let's just add a little bit to it. It's like, I don't know. So sometimes people just don't have insight. I try to put myself in their shoes anytime, like, the chanting would start up and stuff, and I'm just like, "God, could you imagine being drugged up on, like" don't do drugs, but drugged up on, like, a bunch of uppers with, like, your eyes peeled back, forced to be awake because you're scared if you fall asleep, you'll die. Could you imagine living like that every single second until just you knock out? Brain's crazy, man. Like, it's just like like, their lifespan is significantly shorter. You ever looked up did a little Mayo Clinic symptom check on whatever disease you believe you had in, like, this period of your life. It's like, your life expectancy shouldn't change that much unless it was some rare shit. It's like, I remember coming across schizophrenia and being like, "Wow, just having a mental illness shortens your lifespan by 50 years. That's insane." Is it still 50? Let me look. Lifespan for schizophrenics. Hate saying it like that, sorry. 10 to 20, my bad. Studies suggest that on average, people with schizophrenia live around 10 to 20 years less than people without the condition. What, we live to, like, 80 now? That's, like, 60. Wild. When I used to do those in-house things, yeah, like, they would either self-delete or die of some I've heard, like, heart disease. I make like, something with the heart, something from smoking, but not lung cancer, something that's supposedly, like, branched off of that, which they be smoking, not all of them. Actually, I feel like it is all. I'm just kidding, but it's not like your average folk who could, maybe they got a habit they can't kick and 2 packs a day, that's crazy, right? You haven't been around anybody with schizophrenia, and it shows. They outsmoke you, let me tell you, okay? So much that I remember 1 month, it was like $800 a month for 2 people, 400. What, like $10 a pack? How many packs is that a day? Somebody wanna do that math? 'Cause I don't recommend this. It's just a decision I made after not getting into the military. I had to be off them for 6 months. What was it, like meds? That's why I didn't wanna go back on antidepressants. I'd have a better life and be more desirable, but it would be hiding who I really was. Those genes still get passed down. Not if you treat it. Not if you treat it. I don't know about I'm not, like, too knowledgeable on gene expression, but I do know if I didn't treat my PTSD quickly, that it would have passed down, and that sucks. Could you imagine being born into anxiety of some sort? That sucks. It's like one thing. I'm not saying one's better than the other, but there's something about knowing exactly where something stems from that can, like, calm you down. It's like, "Okay, had PTSD. We're not in a life-threatening situation. Calm down, touch a blanket, whatever, breathe." So I would hate when they would say that shit. What do you mean fucking breathe? What am I doing? But it's like, could you imagine just having panic attacks from, like, kindergarten? Horrible. Not have anything to point like, you're so young. It might be different because we have all our eggs, something like that, I don't know. I'm here. Don't worry. Like, YouTube's like, "Oh my god, no way." My best friend is a schizophrenic. I spent few years living with him trying to understand what he goes through. Does he have insight? Give me some hope. My girlfriend dated, a relatively famous musician who has it, and it was, like, during me just real I was like, "I must know how that man thinks." Like, totally normal. Like, you can have a mental illness, and you would have no idea, but it's that insight, baby. So, if women feel more negative emotions than men, why aren't all of them on medication for it? Because that can easily cause the evil inside them to evolve and come out. Well, I guess it says more about Mother Nature if she's making women the devil. Like, so they're gonna spawn Satans? It's a little fucked up. Maybe. What does evil look like? Can someone tell me? I don't meet the criterion for it anymore. Well, like, technically. I was on them for several years. It wasn't critical to function since I was 15 years old. I've heard that for men, and, like, men and women seem to have really different experiences on antidepressants. I've had friends that thought they were depressed, and it was, like, an underlying bipolar thing. They just never it's like they would have episodic sorry, episodic mood disruptions, but, like, in seasons, not fluctuations throughout the day. So it's like for somebody that maybe doesn't know what bipolar looks like, they would just think that they were depressed for a bit and then, oh, they got a little bit better, and then, damn it, they're depressed again, almost like seasonal, depression. But then tried, like, medication for antidepressant medication, didn't work, but then eventually tried a mood stabilizer, which is like I like to say it's the antidepressant for those with bipolar disorder. I don't know, I feel like it changes the way you look at it a little bit, uh, and then they'll have, like, a full recovery in a month, and it's like, they don't really meet I'm not a doctor, not giving medical advice. I've just been around a lot of people with mood disorders who have almost always sought treatment. Um, they're killing it, okay? Killing it. You can live very good life on medication, um, but it's just gonna take a while. I was like, "Damn, I didn't know mood stabilizers do that." It's worth a shot. My mother would say, "Why suffer? Why?" Sometimes I'll, like, man up. I hate that phrase when I have a migraine. Just like, how long can I go without taking Bayer, over the counter, whatever? And it's like, 'cause I really just don't wanna get up, but I'm gonna pretend that I'm like, "I don't need it." All it does is make me feel nauseous longer. What's the point? Might as well just take it. Want to hear something effed up? I took Molly last night, lost 2 hours of my life. I cannot remember how I got home or how I got a t-shirt, a vinyl, and a poster. Hope you didn't drive. Scary. Make sure you take your L-tyrosine and 5-HTP before the Tuesday blues. I hate being a bartender sometimes. You just, like, know too much. Exorcism of Emily Rose. Emily Rose is actually a fascinating case of the whole evil construct. Do you guys know about the backstory? It's one of my faves. She developed maybe I should just Google it because I suck at talking. Emily Rose case. Anneliese Michel. July she passed away July 1st, 1976. Was a German woman who underwent 67 Catholic exorcism rites during the year before her death. She died of malnutrition, for which her parents and priest were convicted of negligent homicide. She was diagnosed with epileptic psychosis or temporal lobe epilepsy and had a history of psychiatric treatment that proved ineffective. When she was 16, she experienced a seizure and was diagnosed with psychosis caused by temporal lobe epilepsy. Shortly thereafter, she was diagnosed with depression and was treated by a psychiatric hospital. By the time that she was 20, she had become intolerant of various religious objects and began to hear voices. Her condition worsened despite medication, and she became suicidal, also displaying other symptoms for which she took medication as well. After taking psychiatric medications for 5 years failed to improve her symptoms, she and her family became convinced she was possessed by a demon. And as a result, her family appealed to the Catholic Church for an exorcism. So, recap, she gets a seizure, immediately goes to the doctor, did the right thing, goes to the doctor, they give her these medications, but her symptoms got worse. And so, after going to the hospital for about 4 years, back and forth, she decided, "This isn't working. I don't wanna do this anymore," and put it into the hands of God. Okay. As a result, her family appealed to the Catholic Church for an exorcism. While rejected at first, 2 priests sorry, it's hard for me to talk, got permission from the local bishop in 1975. The priests began performing exorcisms, and the family stopped consulting doctors. Anneliese stopped eating food and died of malnutrition or malnourishment and dehydration after 67 exorcism sessions. Could you imagine rewinding the exorcism movies to the time where the priest is like 67 times, but like real life? Are you kidding? He never, you never thought like it's epilepsy. I guess not. Okay. Her parents and the 2 Roman Catholic priests were found guilty of negligent homicide and were sentenced to 6 months in jail, reduced to 3 years of probation, as well as a fine. In a conference several years later, German bishops retracted the claim that she was possessed. This was huge, and it's huge because of church separation of church and state. And I guess do they talk about the case? Prosecution. So after an investigation, the state prosecutor maintained that her death could have been prevented as late as 1 week before she died. If they would have decided, "We should go to the hospital because 'cause you're frail and dehydrated, you can't keep anything down. We should just go." And that she would have been hooked up to an IV, she would be alive. I don't know about today. Yeah, probably, actually. No. This is 1976? I don't know. Um, where is it? Excuse me. The parents were defended by famed Nuremberg trials defense attorney Erich Schmidt-Leichner. Leich Leichner. And the priest's defense counsel were paid by the church. The state recommended that none of the involved parties be jailed. Instead, the recommended sentence for the priests was a fine, while the prosecution concluded that the parents should be exempt from punishment as they had suffered enough. A mitigating legal factor in German penal law. The trial began on March 30th, 1978, in the district court and drew intense interests. Doctors testified that she was not possessed, stating that the manifestations of demonic possession were a psychological effect of her strict religious upbringing, as well as her epilepsy. Dr. Richard Roth, whom Alt had consulted for medical help, allegedly told her during the exorcism that, quote, "There is no inject." Oh my god, that's gonna trigger me. There is there is no injection against the devil. You sure? Schmidt-Leichner argued that the exorcism was legal and that the German Constitution protected citizens in the unrestricted exercise of their religious beliefs. The defense played tapes recorded at the exorcism sessions, sometimes featuring what was claimed to be demons arguing, to assert their claim that she was possessed. Both priests claimed that the demons identified themselves as Lucifer, Cain, Judas, Iscariot, Adolf Hitler, and Nero, among others. Isn't it so funny? Remember I told you guys in the video that I just did today, for some reason, it always falls down into this alt-right Nazi thing going on. They can't help it. But it's like, of course, one of them's gonna be Adolf. You know? You gotta be careful. I hate that man. They also stated that she was finally freed of demonic possession resulting from the exorcism just before her death. Bishop Stengel said that he was not aware of her alarming health condition when he approved of the exorcism and did not testify in court. In April 1978, Anneliese and the two priests, or I'm sorry, the family. I keep saying because I can pronounce Michel by right. The parents and the two priests were convicted of negligent homicide, but were given suspended prison sentence and were ordered to share the costs of the legal proceedings. The sentences have been described as stiffer than those requested by the prosecutor. Stiffer. I don't like it. I don't like that at all. It's haram. By proving the ancient exorcism right, the church drew public and media attention. According to author John M. Duffy, the case was a misidentification of mental illness. In a conference several years later, German bishops retracted the claim that she had been possessed. I'm not gonna lie, she seemed possessed to me, and that's, saying a lot, you know? She learned Latin, but that was from her religious upbringing. Anyways, hope you enjoyed that really slow read. Um, Funny how only religious people get easy, because it gives an answer to things that don't go away with medication, or at least didn't. I mean, still today, it's iffy, but people like to have some it honestly, it's really stressful to not have an explanation for something. We try to do it with almost everything, which probably contradicts something I said in the beginning, but it's like, in order to make sense actually, that's like a quantum physics thing, but it's like in order to make sense of everything around you, we I don't know if rationalize is the right word. We define things. Sometimes it goes neurotic. Okay. Mm, headaches. Why they gotta throw my man mustache into the basket? Not the basket. They do, man. Have tried 3 different species, including oh, see, H believed in magic. He lost the war using the occult and magic to locate allied subs and make battle plans. It didn't work. You know, he likes to he's worse than a feminist, where he likes to pick and choose when to choose religion to support his I wrote about it, go read it. Don't even I like, uh, I fantasize about gouging his eyes out. Moving on. It's okay when I say it. So interesting what the fixation of spirit will do to the mind. Yeah. It's so interesting to see how the concept of morality gets grounded in somebody going through a psychosis or hears God. That was fascinating. Fascinating. Sometimes I think we should get rid of HIPAA just so all the stuff we could see, but then it's like, well, that would be kind of fucked up. It's like it's like a whole other world. DMT should be required when you turn 18. Oh my god. No. No. To the parents out there, if there's one piece of advice, you print out one of those advanced medical directives and make sure you get your name on something. If you're trust me, trust me. Don't have to get it, whatever, what do you call it when you bring it to a court? I was about to say exonerated by what is it called when you get, like, stamp notary. Exonerated. I hate this brain. Like, what? It's so witty on its own. Anyway, don't have to get it notarized, and it puts somebody in place in the event that something does happen and you're a child who is, like, 20 to whatever age can take, your medical advice. So if they're in a psychotic state and they think people are poisoning them that and they don't wanna take meds, you kind of can force it for, like, a short period of time. Don't let them touch marijuana. I used to get absolutely laughed at when I would go, like, school to school to during the, uh, drug what are they called? Why do I always is it PSA? You guys know. Remember that commercial where it was like, "Don't smoke weed or you'll end up like him," and he's, like, melting in the couch? Anyways, there's a unit, I forget, it's, like, probably March? Was it the beginning of the fall? Or both? Where they'll do, like, an assembly of just different drugs and what it does to you, okay? Don't do it. Don't do it. And I would be the one for marijuana. You never thought that there was anything to worry about. Buzz, buzz, bitch, I'm here. Okay? Stop laughing. It's serious. Making them all put somebody in place on the medical directive. You can't help some people with different, um, like, physical stuff. I'm not saying it's all bad, okay? It's just, like, more dangerous than some of the stuff that I thought was worse. That made no sense. Psychosis and religion go hand in hand because people ignore the spiritual. Change my mind. What's the spiritual? There is evidence that shows giving I forgot to get there when I was saying the thing about, we want to give an explanation for stuff that we really can't. We use religion. It has shown in science that there's proof that religion can ease the stress response, which is huge, huge, and I'm surprised I don't see I think you'll kind of hear Christians debate, and they'll be like, "But if it helps," and it's like, "No, you have evidence, like, very concrete evidence to support religion." Use it. Okay. Um, stress response. Remember how I explained the genes in that other video? My hand is so orange. If you had one job, what is that? Um, kind of have those different things. They're all stressful events, and we really underestimate the stress that we experience, especially in this culture. What some of us would call possessed, others would call mentally ill. I call it a mechanical problem. Find me one instance where it isn't, and I'll change my mind. I just can't. Basically, people evil is what is taught as evil. Like people believe witchcraft is evil. You're you're not wrong. It's always a little bit funny to me, with all due respect, when like which I am a big proponent of religion. I say, "Hey, it's not an avenue you shouldn't explore." I'm not saying that everybody's experience is different. But it's always so funny to me when somebody who's like, let's say Christian makes fun of like a witch. It's like, all right, two two like magical fucking things fighting with each other. Sick. It's like on the surface, you're just like, did that just happen? And then the other part of my brain is like, if your girlfriend is a witch, she probably has autism. Okay. There's like that side of my brain. I saw the funniest video the other day, and I felt personally attacked. Um, it was something like where is it? Did I put it in the group chat? It was like this black guy who was like, "Guys, listen up. You might have a girlfriend who's autistic and suffering with a sensory something." And he listed off, he was like, "You always thought she was, like, a little quirky." I don't remember verbatim what he said, "A little quirky, but she sells her stones and crystals on Etsy. She's probably autistic." And then at the end, he's like, at a certain point, the amount of Starbucks cups is, like it's gotta be a fixation or something, like, using, like, the terms, I was like, "Damn, I feel personally attacked. I'm not autistic." I was literally talking to Pearl the other day, I was like, "I'm attracted to some men that are autistic." I think that is my type. Smart, okay? Basically, people evil is like yeah, yeah, yeah. Religion is the attempt to define spirit. I won't say it. Explain it to me more because it's like, shame him sermonizing them into having bad souls. But I say it's a mechanical problem and everybody loses their fucking shit, not you. Like, It's like, "I guess we'll go to your way. Yeah, shame on you. No remorse." Useless. Trust me. Like, you could do so good. You could do so much good by understanding it's like a faulty wiring system. Get them help. Let's not try to, get some retribution by using, violence and death as, payback. It's ju well, when you put it that way, shit. Probably admit oh, I'm so behind. So slow. I lean more into spiritual neglect than a pure mental illness. Meds are and therapy can fail where prayer may very well succeed. Lots of undiagnosed people. I don't know what I would do if I didn't believe in a little bit of magic. You know how many times I think about my best friend, rest in peace, Paige, who passed away, and then her blue charger, fucking like, "Bitch, love you." Like, that's a little magical. I don't if I didn't have that, I would probably go insane. It does make you feel better, give you that much. Okay, Tori, but we have good reason to go against witchcraft. It's not prayer. And a lot of our prayers are really just witchcraft in disguise, and we don't even realize it. How do you differentiate witchcraft from the Bible? If I pulled some text do you guys remember Life Size Barbie? What was that movie called? With the Tyra Banks. Was it Tyra Banks? Yeah, it was. I loved that movie. It was on Disney Channel, and why were they trying to find a spell? I forget. So she can go back to Barbie Land. Duh. Was that the same movie? Yeah, dang. There's something around hold on. I'm, like, thinking the Disney I Wish Upon a Star, that's not it. Like, fuck. It's like, how do you differentiate from the passage? Looks the same to me. And if religion is true, why is it different across the world, you know? Isn't just like one it's like, we don't believe we don't like Pope. Okay. Then you have the other one that's like, we want to marry children. It is our right. Uh, choose your words wisely. Sorry. Impulsive. It's like, why is different everywhere? Doesn't that make it, like, not true? Just by your definition, you know? Would you prefer a world where everybody was religious or not religious? I mean, does it matter? Because if you're religious, you could kill under the guise of religion, and then I don't know. Most convicts are Christian. I think I'd be safer with the, atheists, but I change that opinion often, to be honest with you. It's like most good comes from it. It's like, yeah, if you're normal. Like, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, y'all, but I think I've met more yep, I think I've met more unstably dangerous not all, religious people than like, the atheists are just well, it depends, actually. Some atheists are annoying as fuck. Can't get away from idiots. I think I literally like 2. Even Sam Harris. like, stresses me out with his talk on consciousness. I get it. You guys are spiritual, but until you can separate somebody who says the same thing and has a severe mental illness, like, I'm not convinced. Maybe I need to do, like, ayahuasca. I don't know. The spirituality is another branch of religion. Religion is the pursuit to define a spirit. There's many variations, and spirituality is just another attempt to define it. Let's see, like, y'all be separating that too now. Don't you just hate that shit? How do you differ even Oprah, which, like, horrible example, but I think Oprah, at least in my brain, is the first time I heard somebody define something as spiritual versus religion, and the next time in my life was when you sign up for Facebook. Separated it. That's all I have. I'm, like, spiritual. Okay, so you are a witch. Like, that's just, like, how my brain works. I don't know. Probably into crystals. Okay, cleanse my ass, bitch. I'm deaf on the spectrum. I love people on the spectrum. Evil preaches tolerance until it's dominant, then Triesto silence. Evil preaches tolerance. No, it doesn't. Evil preaches tolerance. No, that's it literally just contradicted itself, and I will tell you why. Give me a moment. One of the reasons that I hate this concept of evil is because it's like the lazy man's version of putting a word to something and having absolutely no solutions. Absolutely none. And it's like there's a solution standing right in front of you. Nope, I'm blind. It's like Sandra Bullock in the movie, like blind, whatever. It's like, ugh, ignorance with love, with love. You can pull up the piece that I wrote because if we got rid of evil, we would get rid of things like praise and scolding. It's like, what? Why? Because evil is opposite of evil, good. A horrible explanation, but oh well. Nothing about witchcraft is autistic or quirky. It will bite you back. Nothing neutral. Do it. I have nothing to lose. Somebody tries to get a voodoo doll and like, shame on her. Boo, bitch. I don't know what's more terrifying, me or a demon. Why do you think no one's called into the show yet? Exactly. Like, enough said. Uh, which is not something to ride home about, okay? I'm autistic and smart. Let's do it. I just love the honesty. I love it. Why am I so behind? If I go too fast, it makes me log out of this. Yes, Lindsay Lohan. Oh, wow, I'm really behind. Get it together, bitch. Okay, it's been a while. I'm killing it right now. What hour am I on? Bringing it back. When Christians call something evil, it's because we have a whole book detailing how to navigate it. I bet you can't describe it, though. You guys wanna see why I hate this g you wanna see how delusional it looks from, like, the outside perspective? Imma show you. Imma show you. Let me get somebody pick some crime. Any crime. So you guys know I'm not cherry picking. We need, like, somebody, like a homicide. Yellow tape around this body. I picked the wrong profession. A demon ain't good. You're very much better. You hate something you don't understand. You do realize I used to be religious as fuck. I went to a Catholic school, bro. Ew, I hate when no, cut her off. Oh, I hate when people say bro. I literally went to a Catholic school. Like, you annoy me so much. I even went as far as to what fucking I think I was 22 when I started going to Bible study at, like, a Presbyterian? Unclear. It's a fun time, fun people. I just don't somebody told me you can be religious and not believe in the magical part, and that's like Judaism. Yeah? Probably convert. I probably would. If you don't have to believe in magic, it is knowing that rather than experiencing the universe, you are a vessel through which the universe experiences itself. It is the knowing. It's so bold. Caress. Bold. I'm not trying to make fun of it. I probably have brain damage, honestly. I'm just awkward. Are you a socialist? No. Not even close. Oh, well, actually, maybe on a couple issues. No, not really. Not really. It might seem like I'm just like, "Oh, we should fix this," even though it doesn't need help. I'm a rich bitch. I think of, like, champagne socialist. I apologize. It's like, I could see that, maybe, but no, like, the issues that I care about that have to do with never mind. You bored me. I'm just kidding. I hate talking politics. Unless it's like gossip. Speaking of, Joe Biden was like, "Bae, it's all you. I'm stepping away." Okay. Most Christians I meet seem to be better for it. I don't believe in it. But what grounds do I have to criticize it if it is useful? That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I like that. I want people to acknowledge, like, the stuff that a lot of people get afraid to acknowledge. Somatic. Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Oh, I'm decent.
Did I trigger you? I'm sorry.
No. No.
I never do. I feel like I feel like you and I go back and forth.
I might be annoying sometimes because I'm
No, not at all. I'm annoying.
religious and that sort of thing. But I'm an anti-theist, and the thing that I wanted to convey is you got to have that point of origin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my point of origin is concerning evil is that there's nothing that can exist evil-wise outside of physics. So
yeah,
a ghost, I'm talking like ghosts, demons, none of that. You're never going to see any of that in your lifetime.
But I saw the door slam, sir.
It doesn't exist outside of the physical realm of physics. I took a physics class when I was like...
That was the joke. Like, God damn it.
Yeah. So, but when you start with that point of origin, it negates something being evil, so you can't get scared of it. What I do equate to something being evil is when you're deceived by something.
Mm.
So if somebody lies to you or says you need to keep going to church so you can save your soul, and the reason you're going to church is because you need to pay that pastor 10% of your your money.
Yeah, I got kicked out of CCD because I couldn't pay.
Oh no.
I know the
Hey,
irony.
you don't pay, you go. Get out of here.
Well, sometimes I think like if it's kind of like it's giving gaslight. Then it's like you must believe in us, and if you don't, you will burn in the gates of hell. And it's like you're that that doesn't really sound like a choice at that point, you know? Not
Yeah,
all religion.
it's a scare tactic to continue a grift.
Well,
That-
you
It's really all it is.
do you know the biological underpinnings of religiosity? Have you heard about the OCD component, like the shamans and shit?
Yeah, where they have like some kind of something wrong with their brain,
An
and that
obsession
makes
for rituals on
yeah.
some level. And then it manifests by trying to get everybody to do it so you can ease your anxiety. There's evidence for it. Not all. Okay. People get really mad when I mention that.
And that goes back to, okay, well, what about we're all made in the image of God? If we're all made in the image of God, and he put that little thing inside, their brain to make them like that,
Yeah.
was that intended? You
Talking
know,
like gays.
same thing goes for,
Yeah.
when men have the frontal lobe missing, and it turns them into a psychopath, I think it is.
And probably not like a medical term, but somebody who lacks empathy, maybe a little antisocial. Or do you mean like somebody in psychosis? Depends.
But we're made in the image of God. No, we're not. We're just an animal species. That's
Yeah,
the point.
everything is an instinct. It almost seems like they view evil as more animal, and like you're saying, like we're all technically animals. We just have a little bit more insight than like a lion. Like what makes us so different from other species? It's that little. It's that. It's the bigger heads for one, but it's the ability to have I forget what it is. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, we're just a animal species, really.
Yeah.
And we mate, we procreate. That's what we're here for. And just like any other species, except according to some, it's getting overpopulated.
Did you know I did you know that if something isn't working for a species, they won't procreate? It's like women pick the best men, arguably, with human species, obviously. But like
Hmm.
in any other species, if let's say there's some sort of disease in the air, and if you had babies, they would all come out like they just came out of like Chernobyl's oven or something. Like the women will not procreate. Like stuff will happen where they can't produce where it can't fertilize or whatever it's called. And so it makes you wonder, are our birth rates low because we're fine, our heads are catching up with our pelvic region? For those that don't know, ours, like humans, we're not evolved to give birth easily, which I find fascinating. It's like because we got too smart too quickly, and like our head, but you have to be held by mom at a certain point. So it's like if we were held any way long, hold on, if we were held any way longer, we would get too big to pass through. And so if we went too early, we wouldn't be able to live on our own quickly. Like if you look at horses, they give birth and that thing is running. Okay. That's how it should be with humans, but
Hmm.
it's not. So it's like, I wonder, are we trying to force people to have babies when technically maybe we're trying to die off? I don't know. I think about that often now.
Well, it all depends on where you live. There's some governments, like I think Korea, offers a woman, if she has more than 10 kids or 10 kids, she gets like 12 grand
That's not worth it.
if they reach a certain amount of kids. Yeah. So it depends on the situation of whether or not the government is incentivizing that.
Yeah.
And of course, here in America, that's not happening.
I know a lot of people don't like to acknowledge the money thing, but it really is the money thing
Oh,
first.
it's all about money. Yeah.
It always is. And people are like, no, men and women have a gender war. And I'm like, no, bitch. Like, we can't afford it. Like,
all goes back to money. Yeah.
it really does.
It's pretty simple math. But the other thing too is what religion does is, or the reason why we're still talking about it today, it's lasted all this, it's lasted for over 2,000 years.
Mhm.
But the way it survives through time is you infect your kids with the mind virus, I call it.
Easy.
So the kid gets taught about God and religion or Christianity or whatever religion it is when their brain hasn't formed yet.
Mm.
And now it's stuck there. And what it does is it tells the kid, I got to believe this because if I believe it, I can better bond with my parents.
Wait, you want to know something funny? When I was like 6, I, out of fucking nowhere, decided that if I didn't say my full name after I sneezed, I thought God was going to kill me. It was like a form of OCD for a brief moment in my life. And I'm like, why would that come up? And it makes you wonder if like there's a certain age where you start to realize like consequences in some regard or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I grew up, I wasn't religious at all. My mom, she was actually a Wiccan into Wicca or whatever. And
she was like a bad witch. Isn't that like bad?
No, she wasn't bad, but
that's like the occult, sir.
She claimed to be a witch. Okay. But the thing that the kid does is it allows you to bond with your parents because when you're a kid, you have to have a bond with somebody to grow into adult, right? So the bond, the glue to bonding with your parents more is the religion.
Yeah.
And your parents will love you more, and some will even shun you if you stop believing in their religion. Like LDS. If you were LDS, Jehovah's Witness, you be shunned, and your mom and dad will never talk to you for the rest of your life. Now that's evil.
Do you think that really happens at large, though? I feel like maybe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I feel like parents would cut off their children for doing like OnlyFans before cutting them off for not believing in God.
Oh, it depends on what religion you got brought up into. And like I said, to me, it's just a mind virus. You're transferring a mind virus to your kid.
Even if it self-soothes?
Well, what it does is it continues. What's going to happen to that kid when they have kids? They're going to transfer the virus to them. And that's how religion survives through time.
Are you sure?
We're still talking about it. It's 2,000 years later.
Yeah.
I wish we didn't have to waste our time talking about it, really.
Well, there is utility in having different people either believe or not believe. Like, it does keep powerful structures at bay. There is that. If we all leaned one way, we'd be worse off for sure. But because we have that dichotomy or whatever,
it keeps a grift continuing. When you join a church, you pay, right?
Yeah, I got kicked out, y'all, because we didn't pay.
And those dollars don't get taxed at all. So
really? That is true.
And in that case, guess what they can do with that money if it's not reported? They can launder it.
Why? Oh, well, yeah. To
Not
do what?
reported.
What are they doing?
You could go to a pastor and say, look, I've got this dirty money. I'll give you a fee if you launder it for me.
How often do you think that happens?
Look at the Catholic Church.
Really?
Look how rich they are. Who knows?
Just because someone's rich doesn't mean that they have dirty money. So then I want the ability to start a church and do torshaa preaching torshaa Sundays or something. Then will I become rich?
No, because you're a woman. You can't be up on that stage.
Oh, please. Don't tell me that shit.
You're a ginger woman.
You know what, though? I know that always sounds so bad, but we all know that the Bible was created by men for men. And so it's like a man's not going to listen to a woman to like alter his behavior. Of course, you need a male priest. So for that, that's fine. Or pastor, whatever. I'm kidding, y'all. I'm kidding.
I'd love a job that instantly gives me tax-free money, status, and power. And all I got to do is be good at public speaking.
Well, actually, this is a fascinating construct that I see men have. Actually, there was a show on TikTok, and I'll have to find the name of it. But men seem to think well, you tell me, what do you need in order to have like tax-free money, power, all of that? You would have to have wait, hold on. I'm going to fuck that up. Hold on.
Sure.
In order to have all those things that you stated, do you have to be in control of the world?
You just got to be in control of your flock, your congregation, and try to keep it growing so that you can continue your grift. And,
So the only other person I could think of that could get that type of setup, tax-free money, all that shit, is a baby. Not somebody powerful. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
if I was in charge of, say, the United States, and I would say, oh, you want your tax-exempt church, right? Fine. You can keep that, but you have to turn your church into a homeless shelter.
They do that. The only people 1000%. The Christians
they can't do the zoning laws.
No, the Christians have different residential buildings where they own property, and they're the only ones that house the homeless and mentally ill. 1000%. I'll die on that hill.
Do you know how many churches that we have nationwide?
How many? Probably.
You know how many? Yeah.
Ooh, 500,000.
More?
1 million?
No.
More?
Less.
No, down? Ooh, 600,000.
830,000 churches.
Yeah, but sometimes they not even open. Like they might just be registered.
Yeah, and they get used maybe one day a week.
But what's the difference between that and businesses that aren't churches? You know, you got your happy ending massage and your like your mattress store. Like, what do you mean?
You can't be doing that in church, except but no, that's how I would play it. I'd say, oh, you want that tax exemption? Fine. But if you opened up 830,000 locations nationwide to anyone who became homeless, then you can get your tax exempt.
But they do.
I haven't seen any.
Okay. I will die on that hill. I'm so confident in this answer. It's one of the reasons that I even held on to religion. They were the only ones that would help.
And did you know that 800,000 of those churches are Christian denominations?
And that's a good thing, no?
So out of 830, there's 800,000.
So they're trying to get paid. There's a lot of communities. What's your point to that though? There's 830, like there's too many.
Well, the majority of the religion here in the U.S. is Christianity. Let's not.
Would you rather it be anything else?
Let's not say it isn't, right? It's mostly Christian. So,
yeah, but that's a good thing. You just don't want it at all. You're like, I want to be just. I don't know. I like the diversity a bit, but I'm also.
I pretty much, keep to myself on that sort of thing, and I haven't attended church or anything like that.
Should we go?
For a long time.
Should we go scope it out?
I don't carry cash
anymore.
I wonder if they slide your debit card now or something. Maybe the plate's a computer.
Just tell them you're homeless. You know how many times I slept in the church parking lot and like nobody even said anything? They would like leave stuff by my car. But you go in the Walmart parking lot where technically it's illegal and you got SWAT cars like, ma'am. And I'm just like, okay, hi.
Like, well, you should be able to go in that church and they can, house you for a week or something like that.
They've given me cash.
The only thing I've ever done is maybe go to a church dinner, where they serve a meal one day out of the week and then they expect you to show up on Sunday. You're showing up, right?
Maybe.
I won't be here, but yeah.
Well, yeah. I don't know. Like when I would go to church, it was popping, but it was like Friday. I feel like during like maybe like 6 o'clock. I don't know why though.
There's just a difference between an atheist just has no belief in God, just doesn't know if he exists or she exists or whatever. An anti-theist knows for sure there is no God. It does not. Is
that what you identify yourself as, an anti-theist? It sounds like a religion.
You're completely irrelevant because it doesn't matter. It's like you and me talking about it right now. For me, it's like a waste of time.
Thanks, asshole. Like, oh.
I know it sounds bad, but yeah.
It's a waste of time.
Right. Because if everything was to get say we had a nuclear attack tomorrow and everything was gone, in 100,000 years, we'd have all the science books right back, right? Because science exists within physics.
I mean, but we have like I talk about all the time. We have science to explain certain conditions.
But all the religious books would be what?
I would say there's more non-religious people, no?
With the religious, but what happens to the religious books after the nuclear attack? Would they be the same?
I mean, they probably got that shit uploaded on a document. I think I'm too autistic. Go ahead. Wait, what do you mean?
They'd be all different or not at all.
Yeah, but if you got rid of God and the concept of God and the concept of evil, you would also have all new ways of talking about social narratives and constructs anyway. So that's kind of a good thing.
Yeah.
You're like,
no, it's about control. If you ever see a movie called The Book of Eli. No, never seen that? Okay. It's a post-apocalyptic movie and it's got Denzel Washington in it.
This sounds like right up my alley. How have I never heard of this?
It's a cool movie, yeah. The Book of Eli. And there's a guy in a town that wants the Bible. He wants it so bad because he knows once he finds the Bible, which is they've been eradicated, all the Bibles because of the nuclear attack. He knows once he gets that Bible, he will be in full control over all the towns in his area. Because he has the words.
You think so?
The people in all the towns.
You think it's that easy to persuade people?
Well, the funny part is, Eli has the book. He has the Bible.
Okay, keep going.
He's blind.
And he's blind?
And it's in Braille. So the guy who
Are you fucking kidding me? Like, God damn it, Eli.
So the guy who needs the Bible the most can't read it.
Mm. Isn't that ironic? Well, shit.
Yeah. Sorry if I ruined the movie there for you, but
Oh
check
no,
it out.
I like when people tell me the plot and I get to get excited when I watch it, so I know how to follow it. But
It's
okay, so we know that people use religion to gain political power. Obviously, the Holocaust is a great example. We won't touch on it just because of YouTube guidelines, but that's that's any side that you become radical on. That could be somebody could be radical on the uh, no God side and go to nihilism and want to get rid of everybody because there's no point, right?
well, you wrote in your Substack there about the Nazis and all that, which I read, and yeah, I wanted to include. You look at every belt buckle, any Nazi war, it has Gott mit uns on it.
Mm,
That translated to English, God is with us.
yeah, that's a lot of people were
Okay.
disagreeing with me on the political affiliation or political religious affiliation. And I was like, isn't it kind of obvious with anybody that tries to take over that they use a little bit of religion and a little bit of politics? That's how it becomes radical.
He
That's how I
used
saw it.
it just like the guy in the book of Eli knew that once he had that book, he could control the masses.
So then
So
it's
same
obvious to
concept.
tell when they're becoming crazy.
Same concept. As long as you have those book, that Bible, you can control the masses. So it's all about control. It's all man-made, and it's completely irrelevant to anti-theists like myself. Uh,
Anti-theist. That's the first time I've ever heard that word today.
yeah, because I used to be atheist, and then I saw that Nazi belt buckle. That's what did it
That's
for
how
me.
you knew.
That's what did it for me.
That sounds like somebody that says, I know what evil is because I saw it. Sounds the same to me. It
uh,
all sounds a little like, how can we be so sure? You know? I mean, I agree with you,
I,
but I
you
gotta
got to
play devil's advocate.
reference back to point of origin. I can be sure because nothing exists outside of physics.
That's
Nothing.
one case. They talk about that with determinism,
Yeah.
but it's one of those things where, sure, but how can you go back? How do you know that for certain you would be going a never ending? What's the example he gives? Like the frogs? It's like a never ending something. So we might think we know, but we don't actually know. It'd be impossible to unless we hit another dimension. You really want to go that route right now? like,
Yeah. Well,
like fuck that.
quantum physics is all within the realm of what?
Theoretical.
Physics. It's not
Well, it's
outside. It's
yes, but it's also there's no mass, and then there's also like no what's the opposite? It's like they still use it to explain no matter. That's like the best way I can summarize it right now. It's like it's kind of it accounts for everything but can't at the same time. You know, like gravity isn't like what's the word for it? Gravity is not constant. Is that the word I'm looking for? Help.
yeah. I
Help.
mean there is a form of energy that we don't know about yet, and they say that it's the UFO. It's what keeps like the UFO stuff flying around.
Propulsion? Are we going
No,
like Bob Lazar right now? I love
well,
this shit.
yeah, it's just,
Propulsion. It is propulsion.
no. I'm
My
looking at what
favorite
that.
movie is Interstellar. I love that shit.
Yeah, but it's all about point of origin, and I mean, I'm going to be fairly certain that I'm never going to see a God in my lifetime. Neither will you or your kids.
If I
A
do,
ghost,
I'm tripping.
a demon, a witch. Well, you'll see a witch, but
Rude. Oh my
come
god.
on.
I am a ginger, so aren't gingers technically witches or some
Yes,
shit?
yeah, they
Off
are.
with her head. They used to never
No,
mind.
And you know, the real problem with the, and this will be my last thing,
Mhm.
uh, Christian people back in the Dark Ages actually would burn witches to the stake. Um, it wasn't just because they thought they were doing witchcraft. It's because they weren't Christian enough.
Yeah.
You're not going to church enough. You didn't
Mhm.
put it, you know, you didn't put anything in the pot this week when you showed up for church.
It's
You're not
fa
Christian
yeah.
enough. You're gonna get burned for that, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
It's
It's
horrific.
and it's crazy because a lot of people think of America as always being a Christian country. Like people, they don't go back far enough. Like, no, it wasn't like that, but people think it was because of how people came in and spread the word of God or whatever. But it's always about power. What was the other thing you said, or something else you said?
Power, status, and money.
Have you read?
Those three things.
Have you read about Michael Foucault talks about that stuff. I think you'd really like Crime and Punishment. I think something about us insane asylums being a way to control people. You would actually really like it. He was like one of the first that documented how it's kind of all a power structure. He was like the original feminist back
Yeah,
in like not that long ago. He's a little crazy. He's a little cray, but not crazy in the same way that we talk about crazy and psychotic, but just like an outside thinker sees things in. I personally don't agree with. Like I think medication can help a lot of people. So, but the concept he talks about that, and then you have to read "Determined" by Robert Sapolsky because he talks about the whole quantum thing you're talking about actually in the first chapter of the book. I think you'd like it. If you can borrow it, you can borrow mine. It's on,
yeah,
I forget, Kindle. I think I had it. I got it right when it came out. Fucks me up every time I read it. I think you would like it.
cool. Well,
Cool.
I, I just want to convey that you know it's tough to go sit in a church on Sunday and listen to somebody up on stage telling you just lies, and you know for sure that you can take it. You can either take it as truth or not. Yeah,
Well, I don't know if I would go as far as to say lies because from like a logical reasoning standpoint, the way that it's set up, it technically does follow logic. We just make fun of it because we don't believe in magic. But if people believe in some higher being, it does follow logic in that regard, which is crazy to actually say out loud. But
if you read through the Bible, there's no logic whatsoever in that. Especially parts of it, like
well, if that were true, not
uh,
many people would get on board with it, right? It had to be like kind of true.
yeah, but that's because they don't read it. They don't read it cover to cover. It's quite
Mm.
ridiculous. There's actually a YouTube channel that explains how ridiculous it is. And if you want
Mm.
to, I can post a link to it. But it's called the Devil's Bible. Kind of scare you. No, say
Lucifer, Lucifer's.
Satan's Bible, yeah, something like that. And it goes through the books, story by story.
Mm.
This happened, the flood, the Noah's Ark, all that. It's junk
Mm.
completely.
But what lesson is it trying to teach?
Don't don't put don't put your belief system into irrelevance.
Is it irrelevant though?
Yeah,
Sure, you want to make that claim?
sure.
I'm gonna push you on it.
It is very unimportant.
No, it's literally it's so ambiguous that it is relevant. You could make it relevant to anything, actually, I would argue.
Until there's concrete evidence of a God existing. Which, and I tell this to a lot of people: if you're arguing if God actually existed,
Mhm.
you would not ever need to argue his existence.
Right, I follow that.
Most
But
people do,
what if I said that I could? Would
and
you change your opinion?
nope, they're just wasting their time.
But see, if you're not even open to changing your opinion with new information, how can I trust your opinion at all?
Okay. Yeah. So I would be open to
It's my
that.
test.
We would need evidence first of God actually existing. Yeah.
Okay. So you don't need to know, like, you don't need to see video evidence of him like walking on water. None of that.
No.
If you walk really fast.
Yeah, and there's a name for that. I heard Rollo say it today. I was trying to.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh God, what did he
Trying to
say?
find it here. It's a word that perfectly defines a religious person, and the word is. Sorry, I have a bit of a cold.
Oh, you're good.
I'm using Chat GPT so often now; it's just becoming a habit. Presidency.
If you remember part of the conversation, you can ask it, like, "Hey, remember when we talked about XYZ?" And they can pull it.
Yeah. Well, there's a name to it, and it just stands for you don't have any. You're very stubborn, and you cannot.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Take in new information, and
low IQ. Is that where we're going?
You'll completely disregard the new information, and because there's, in my mind, I put it as a brick wall. There's a brick wall in every religious person's mind that it's unbreakable.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to be able to adapt with new information. It's just something that I'll ask people to test because a lot of people get really, what's the word? Ego driven. They don't even realize what they're saying. But as long as you can adapt, change your opinion with new information, you're cool with me. But you're right away, you're like, no. And I was like, what do you mean, no?
Well,
don't do that.
Getting in new information and processing it is basically what science does. And once you can prove something in science, you replicate it, and now it becomes theory.
Well, theories by definition are supported by facts, but most studies done cannot be replicated. Do you know that? At least in the social sciences, the stuff that we actually talk about that find interest in, but which is crazy. It's like gravity is pretty consistent, but I don't know, like certain things, like what if you can't replicate it? Does that mean it's not true? Sounds a little ritualistic, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, it goes down into a book of nonfiction, and then anything religious related goes in a book of fiction. There's the difference. They're all books of fiction.
But how do you differentiate between some? But you're saying that you need repetition to prove something is true, right?
Yeah.
But I was making the joke that, well, like they're doing their rituals too. Isn't that true?
No, because a ritual, but you'd have to replicate it. So in a religious term,
testimony.
If you had a religious ritual and it changed something, like it made me fall in love with you, right?
Oh God, horrible. Yeah. I'm sorry. What an awful thing.
Then I'd go to my friend and say, hey, when I did this ritual, it made me fall in love with this woman. So you can do the same ritual and get the same results, right?
But if that's true, why do people lie about the tests?
No.
Yeah, they do.
You won't get the
same errors in human error. Yes, they do.
You won't get the same results because it's based on fiction. I had a black candle. I lit the black candle, and then I poured it all over my hand. And now, that's the ritual that did it. Wrong. It's all junk. It's irrelevant.
So
it's all a waste of time.
Kind of making the claim that
But science,
Easy.
if you proved something in science, you do an experiment, and then that would, if it worked, you could tell it to your friend. They do the same experiment and they had the same result.
But science, even for the things that we know to be true, are not technically true in that regard where you can replicate. Does it make sense? It's
Yeah, it
like,
does, because it goes down into a science book. You know, if there's a theory that you actually come up with and it gets replicated uh, through the process of, doing.
remember when we thought autism was due to the mom being a bad mom? That got put in a book. Remember that? That wasn't that long ago.
Keep in mind that there's nothing outside of the physical realm of physics and theory and science. And
Fear,
we
but
would be
theory.
light years ahead if we didn't have all this garbage holding us down from religion. And, you know,
Hmm. You think religion's the purpose of being held back in like
always,
social change is what you're
always
saying?
held us back. It's killed a lot of smart people.
Well,
It's
they must not have been smart if that happened,
no,
right?
they were powerful. They had the power back then. Oh, and
Mm,
one thing else that you need to realize is, if you're a priest back in the 1600s,
mhm.
um, and say you were gay, what job could I have that doesn't allow me to marry, but pays me well?
I don't know what.
The priesthood.
Oh, so you're telling me that all priests are gay, low key? They're on the
Yeah,
DL? Is that
that's
what you're
why they're all
saying?
screwed up. It's because
So
the
homosexuality is the reason people are fucked up, or do you
the
mean the
men back
reverse?
then who did not find women attractive, first of
Right.
all, you'd be shunned.
Wait, hold on, hold on. Before I lose my train of thought,
Yeah,
there was a period in time where we believed that you could scare a gay man out of being gay, like conversion therapy. That
sure.
wasn't that long ago. And there's men today that still claim they were able to do what was Myelopoulos? Isn't he somebody that's like Catholic and says that you can train yourself not to be gay? Isn't that kind of like, does that
Yeah.
mean that's like a good
Well,
instance of science being a little delulu, no?
the church forbids a man to marry,
Oh, so it's their problem first. I
have
love
a
that.
family. It's the perfect disguise.
What about procreation?
Yeah, you couldn't.
What if like well,
You were celibate. You could not. You're not. That's what also screwed them up.
why?
But
Gays from a microscopic level, like when we're talking just eggs and shit, allies, like they actually serve a function in biology. They're very useful to science, but I know it always fucks me up. I'm just saying, like, my point to all of it is it doesn't matter if religion said anything. We had a science book saying you could get rid of it like it was some sort of disease, like because of religion. Bold. I thought they were like separated. Maybe we're all just one big glob of delusion. We just pretend that we have like, oh, did he leave? I think he froze. That wasn't my smoke detector. Duh. I don't know, semantic. That was a little bit religious. It was a little bit religious. Is that what they mean by some atheists can be religious? Not like me, not my cultural Christian vibes. I'm not talking about that. But when people said, like, somebody said some atheists are very passionately non atheists in a religious sense. Dude, sometimes like I'll read comments just like, wait, what? Y'all fuck me up. Y'all fuck me up. You guys were popping. Priests don't get paid. Status. The priests are fucking. For sure. If religion is fake and science is not, why is science unable to prove souls? Oh my lord. Don't make me do it. Anytime I see the word souls, I just think of Get Out. If I'm being honest, it fucks me up. Ah, scares me. But souls. I mean, is it helpful to just tell people you have a bad soul when they do things that are a little bit odd? I know it's a little bit off topic, but you know where I always bring this shit. I do agree. Religion can. By the way, thank you, Somatic, for coming on and keeping me company. Go fix your battery, okay? It's beeping like a single girl status. Nay, nay, bad. Haram. I do agree. Religion can hold you back. Some religions discourage higher education. Yeah, because women are powerful when we know shit. It scares them sometimes. I'm sure there's women that want to wear a dress and they want to bake. Okay, you do you, bitch. I love it for you. Okay. If the world took over and we were under one religion, like Tori, bow down to your husband, I could like probably obey for a minute, like a week max. But like I'm a crack. There's nothing you can do about it. We're stuck together. Remember when the so-called jab was mandated? Remember that a vaccine is a form of that's a good one. That's a good one. What else? The opposite side of the argument though would say that it saved a lot of lives. Sometimes as somebody who watches more Republican-esque media outlets, there is a fear monger thing that goes on. And it's not necessarily true. And it's like you kind of like, I'm not going to say anymore, do your own research. And by doing your own research, look at the numbers. And if you can't trust some of the institutions, and I don't blame you, okay? We got to put faith in our institutions, religious or not, okay? It blows. What could go wrong? I'm excited that Chevron got overturned. I was scared at first, but I'm actually excited. I think that's going to do good. I wrote about that. But beside the point, it's like you got to have a little bit of faith in the good old institutions and do your research. And before you come to a conclusion, it's okay to have more than one. Well, Tori, how is that accurate? Because sometimes you have to operate in gray. You have to know when you're operating in gray. Anytime you hold a position, you have a responsibility. If I see you and if I catch you, to uphold it, or I'm going to call you out. I'm going to call you out. Would you rather be the smartest people that I've been around seem to operate in gray. Very rarely do they hold those strong opinions. I'll die on that hill. I can't get anything by Caduceus. Anytime I'm a little radical, he's like, well, not all of the time. I'm like, God damn it, Caduceus, you're not wrong. Like, doctor. What's a GIMP? What is that? Wait, I've seen this dude on Grindr. Oh, I'm really behind. Oh, I'm so behind. You had one job, bitch. Jesus. The thing is, Jesus has not appeared in front of anyone. That's not the truth when you ask somebody who has a psychotic disorder. Back in the day, if you guys were not watching my episode earlier today, I talk about this study all the time. There was a huge one done on schizophrenia. They interviewed thousands of families, and like at least one person had schizophrenia. And in every single family that they interviewed over a long period of time, in every single one, there was always at least one other kid or sibling that was like a little odd, not entirely odd, like full blown schizophrenia, but like a little odd. Those were your shamans, witches, religious, and they hear voices at the right time. It's like if you're too far on the spectrum, people don't believe you. But I'm not going to discount somebody's spiritual experience. Shit, your reality is different than mine. Not going to lie. I'll take your word for it. And when people talk about their testimonies, I don't think it's fake. I think it's a very real experience, actually. I prefer to call it like a rock bottom turning point or some shit. But hey, whatever gets you the fuck back up. Hey, Tori Souls, can you not, please? Hi, baby. We're killing it right now. How long are we going? Are we on hour 3? Try not to look. My dogs have been so good. You were a little naughty in the beginning. A little devil. I take it back. See, I'm still a little scared. Your soul is the culmination of all your knowledge and wisdom throughout your lifetime of accumulation. What if you have like brain damage? Do I get my whole soul? Do I get me before the accident because she was dope? You've tried human cloning, but it's not worked out either. Oh, really? I don't really believe in like the concept of individuality by choice. It's another hot take that I can't defend at the moment. I'm going to have to look up on that one. I haven't touched on that in a while. I actually think there's people on this earth that have had probably the same experience as you, but like a little bit later in the day. Some people call it, some people look at it in terms of like the other planets. What do you call it? Alternate universe? I think it's as simple as somebody just like on the other side of the equator. It's like they probably had the same thoughts as you in the same order. Maybe a slight difference. Then you believe we aren't sentient beings. I was writing this fiction book and it fucks me up. I never finished it. But it was about how us discovering like ChatGPT was the same as like when the world was created by God and our God. It was actually pretty dope. Not my worst, okay? It wasn't my worst one. But it was like how we came to discover ChatGPT is like how we told our kids how God discovered the world. The same thing, just in a little bit of an alternate universe, a full circle moment, if I will. But then I got really fucked up in the middle. It was really hard to follow. Maybe I'll put it on my Substack. you won't be able to unsee it. Because we could kind of be like, based on what we had in our current realm, could kind of see where technology would go. Like, we kind of knew we'd have robots. I don't know how we knew that through watching evolution, right? So you know that we'll get there, but you won't know exactly how it, I don't know, fucks me up. I can't explain shit. I think I'm done for the night, y'all. I'm trying to get through these comments and they just keep on coming. I feel like I'm missing all of them. Religion doesn't hold you back. Atheist societies are bound to crumble due to various things, such as low birth rates. Maybe people... Don't you think people would have more kids if the world was kinder? See, on both sides, people have misconceptions about the other. People are like, what do you have to live for if you're an atheist? It's like, what do you have to live for? Not falling into hell? Good luck. Okay. I make more mistakes all the time. You're telling me if I fuck up eternity? That's gaslighting God. Okay. That is manipulation and I don't like it. Nay, nay. It's giving narcissist. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. But it's like, there's such a fascination with how small we are on this huge planet that is just somehow floating in the sky, or I'm sorry, in the universe, in a area that nobody really knows what it looks like. It's dark up there. Time goes backwards. It's like, how can you not find that so radically cool? You know? And they're like, oh, atheists are miserable. I'm miserable because I'm a miserable bitch. It has nothing to do with whether I believe in magic. Love you. But sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I like a little magic. Okay. There's like my friend in her car. I know she's listening. I don't have proof of it, but it's proof for me, bitch. Okay. Mind your business. And if anybody told me, no, it's just you notice it because you're looking for it, okay, so are you. Fuck off. It's like, if it makes me happy. I have this really weird thing with religion, though, and the concept of funerals. It's like, how are people that are religious so sad at funerals? It's like, oh, I'm never going to talk to my friend anymore. You sure about that? I thought in your worldview, you will. And it's like, well, if you can't guarantee that they'll have a spot where you will, then doesn't that negate all of it? It fucks me up. It's one of the, it fucks me up when I think about it. I'll write about it. I can't verbalize it. It almost sounds like actually, you know who talks about this concept really well? There is a video on it. I'm thinking Alex O'Connor. He's talked about this. Sometimes his stuff on God, he's so articulate. I'm just like, what? Wait, what? If I'm being honest with you, I gotta watch it a few times. But he talks about the concept that I'm thinking of, and it's like he does it way better. I just don't remember the name of it. I'm sure if you type in religious people Death. Atheist. Should probably come up. I'm an AI researcher. It does have the capacity for independent thought, but not much relative to a human. It is much less complex than our brains. Dibs on being the bitch who de-escalates AI robots that become radical. I want to go open it a beer. Okay, bitch. Calm down. I'm gonna unplug your ass. I thought about this. I'm like, what do we do if Rococo Basilic? Do you guys know what? Okay, now I'm being really nerdy. I'm gonna get off. Don't look it up. Don't say I didn't warn you. If you're into sci-fi shit and thought experiments. Why do you think evil is just a myth? It's a placeholder. It's a value judgment. It's used so people can judge without understanding. It's a short way of thinking, and quite frankly, it promotes violence. I don't like it. Religion killed Jesus. Jesus was reckless. Okay, pushing his limits. Actually, I don't know. Thank you for the super chat. Keep your girl off OnlyFans, one chat at a time. Oh, Somatic. Thanks for the talk tea. Had fun. Computer got unplugged. Damn it. I need proof. Kidding. Go unplug your fire detector. It's giving like Kevin Samuels. What was that one video? Do you guys remember? It was like, what did he call it? It's so true though. If you see any girls in particular that will make a video and you can hear the beep, it's like, you know, they're single as fuck. How to spot a single bitch. It's so true. I just unplug it and hope I don't burn. Jesus was absolutely reckless. He went in and flipped tables, quite literally. Yeah. Tell me about Ezekiel. That's what I'm naming my son. Oh, he must be religious. Yeah. Duh. Was he like a hoe? Was he bad? My sister didn't like the name Malachi. I like that name. You guys gave me some good names from the Bible. My sister's having a baby and I'm so excited. Stop going to church because women started taking over preaching and women are not preachers of men. True. Just tell them the Bible isn't for them. It's for men. And then they get it. Yes, you can still be religious. It never happens. Don't know why. Pleasure to talk to you. Just don't name him Moab. Was he? I heard Ezekiel was a prolific pimp. Well, God never got married. I love when people are like, well, it teaches you how to be a respectful man. I was like, yeah? You sure? You want to make that claim? Because he never got married. Or Jesus. Whichever one. You guys fuck me up with it. I'm like a 9 out of 10 drunk. But yeah, he didn't get married. Doing the Hugh Hefner route. Slut. Kidding. To bring it down, atheism claims 0 equals 1. Christianity claims... Oh, that's actually interesting. Christianity claims 3 equals 1. All which are unlogic. Islam, along with Judaism, keep to the claim that God is one, which is logic. Well, wait a minute. So do Christians. When was life created? Day 4? Well, why not day 1? Why'd it come later? Or was that the sun? When was the sun created? It wasn't 1 right away. That's my point. Women teaching the Bible is relatively new to Christianity. There was a lot of exclusivity to men regarding sacred text. Well, men have to teach other men, right? So if we have weak men in society, isn't it men's fault? Ooh, write that down. That's a good idea for a topic. That's a good idea for a topic. Not saying it's true. It's just interesting. Imagine sitting at home talking to a text stream. Mind your business. Okay? Be sweet. It's my job. Text stream 1. Wow, very feminist of you. Woman, thanks. Like, you know how concerning it is when I see women appeal to men online? I'm like, blink twice, bitch. You need me to come get... Does a hoe need to go get a hoe? What are you talking about? Anybody who... If I saw men doing the same thing, it's like, at the end of the day, I can't trust you unless you advocate for your own kind, okay? Or else it's grifty to me. You can't possibly think. You don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. Like, the most woman thing I could do is change my opinion all the time. Very feminist of you. Been on like very big shows. It's like a pretty well-known anti-feminist. Sick. Like, just like not for reasons that favor any side. If you stick me in a home and tell me I can't leave, I'm going to start a war. Men need to be house husbands. Prove me wrong. They're not allowed to leave. They're not allowed, not even to the grocery store, okay? You get a little allowance. I'm in charge, bitch. It's only a real man. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Oh, it's funny. The Trinity is the same God presenting himself in 3 different ways. That fucks me up. This is well understood. So, okay. I won't. Fine. Oh my God, hello. There's a lot of variables that make both men and weak. Love that. Oh my God, James, how are you? Good to see you. But it is useful to put all the responsibility on them so they are incentivized to try harder. I'm starting to think that we have to like manipulate a little bit because they don't like it that way. Here's the thing with men. You gotta dangle. You gotta let them know you will get the reward. But like, been a key. Okay? They're not just gonna like, we're past the time where it's like, does she like, and like, no, I need like a very clear signal if I was a dude. It's like, come on, keep going. Love you. It's also likely they found the God of the universe 5 minutes from their house. What are the chances? I'm being nice. It's my Dahmer question. Now you're covered. I didn't see it, Nolan. Men are not built for staying home. Yes, they are. Men love rules. You put men, you say, you do this, do that, and they do it. They like commands. You've been lied to. It's like, I just need you to help me out with the mental load. Can't you just write me like a list? You fucking love rules. Don't lie to me. It's like a part of the male social matrix. Ian Ironwood talks about this. Let's sprinkle a little OG red pill in this bitch. Okay? You guys know you love it. Stop denying it. Denying it. No, I don't. It's like, okay, you're helping no one. Because when I tell a girl, you have to do this, and they're like, that's not the way to get a man. I'm like, okay, bitch. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, been dealing with y'all for like a decade. I feel like you got to yell at them with no nuance. It's a waste of time. And supposedly they're not mind readers. I don't believe that one yet. You're absolutely thinking about dumping me when I ask you what's on your mind. You can't convince me otherwise. Who is she? It definitely didn't properly treat, or wait, didn't teach how to properly treat women early. And it says, it did. They just didn't listen. You know when they did listen? When women were in political power positions, okay? Queens and shit. Little Cleopatra. It was all good until she did. What did she do again? Like, I don't remember. Why can't I remember that? Men like to solve problems. Well, if that were true, you think that this whole gender issue would be done. Love you. I'm just a bartender, okay? I berate men for a living. They love it. I forget that online's not the same. It is. It is. I never had an issue until... Well, when did it become an issue? Not all men. Yeah. You're the same as women. Not all women. Boring. Sometimes I just, like, desperately, when I'm just like, all men do this, I just want men to be like, she's not wrong. And then I would shut up about it. I don't know why I would shut up about it. It's like, it's not necessarily telling me I'm right if you're lying, right? But I just want to hear it. It just feels better. You can't force me into the home. Tell me to stay there. You need to make it look like it's an option. I don't know why. I know it's delusional. But don't make me start crying. Okay, I can't handle it. I just need to, like, feel like I'm in charge. Women need to be drafted. Shut up. So what? Men will be, like, taking bullets for women. That's their nature. It's gonna end up being an only female military if we got women there. No offense. Okay. It's interesting how men fight back on this issue. It's like, you don't like people using your body against your will for things the government should, like, probably get a hold on. That's like women in Roe versus Wade. It's like, where were you guys? Torshaa, but you said you don't like simpy men. What I like contradicts itself. Do not take anything I say when it comes to the men. Of course I hate simpy men, but, like, be nice to me. Try living with it, y'all. It sucks, okay? It absolutely... Oh, but you have insight. They all do. They just don't tell you that. It's like, bitch. Shh. What you like that contradicts itself. I want you to give me my freedom, but, like, also tell me what to do. That would actually be a hilarious ass episode. You just feel like men are, like, in The Sims, just like, fire. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, what do you mean? Think of everything that I do like. I also hate it. It's, like, really that simple. Like, I expect a man to cook for me, but like, get out of my kitchen. Like, literally all of it. I want you to hold the door open for me, or else I think you're rude. But I also don't want you to think, like, if you open it, I also look weak. And now that means that you had to think about the fact that I was weak. Fuck you. Okay, but like, still try. There's so many. I like want you to go away and shut up. But like, if you don't talk to me or ask me about myself, I think you don't like me anymore. This is fun. Oh, what else? If you don't notice that I slightly tinted my hair, I think you're gay. And that my husband's on the DL and I probably should. It's like, really? You jumped to like sexual orientation? Okay. Can't help it. He must be gay. It's like the fucking hamster wheel, just like, it's not you, bitch. It must be him. Hello. And men wonder why we're on medication and shit. Laughable. Talking about men as a collective. I'm making fun of myself, if anything. Like, men will say women are entitled and have impossible standards. And think it's like women that think they're hot shit and they're fat and a whale, whatever it is. It's like bold of you to assume that not all women have these very contradicting things in their head. Like, it has nothing to do with looks. It's called the female experience. Get to know it, okay? I hate it here. Yeah, I'm a 9 out of 10 drunk. Mickey Mouse is absolutely a cat. Okay, I gotta get off. My dad would be disappointed. Hi, Dad. But then people keep coming in. Also, if you ask me if I'm on my period, you're dead to me. I will give you, like, yes, I am. Thanks. Why do you have to say it? But like, I also want you to know that I'm on it so that I can be absolved of all the shit that came before. Women just use it as an yes. Women just want everything without responsibility. Yes. Okay. I birthed you. Shut the fuck up. Remember, women are not evolved for humans to have these big of heads. Look it up. Okay. Ripping that for what? To walk in on my husband with my child dangling like this because you guys don't know how to hold children like a normal. Why do you guys hold them by the shirt? Like, why do you do that? It's giving me a heart attack. I'm not even a mother. Like, don't drop our kid, my kid. It's not yours anymore right now. But then I also want you to take full responsibility of the kid, or else I think you're not putting in. It's your kid. I don't want to be. Well, that's my conclusion to what it's like to be a woman. Fucking horrible. I think it's kind of fun. There's always an answer. They both make sense to me. You either get it or you don't. Okay. You triggered the guy from Grace's chat with your dad watching. I love when my dad comments. Like, I could hear you. It's okay. I love when he writes. It's okay. Sorry, Dad. he's like, what, born 1950? Love you. So he's what, 73? Something like that? 74? Oh shit, his birthday's coming up. Are you on your... Yes, sir. Okay. Everybody knows when it's the week of my period, you better watch it live because I will probably private it. And nothing can be held against me, okay? Tori, you shouldn't have said that. You're not even on your period. That too. Okay. I always get absolved. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm going. Like the video, comment, subscribe. And then check out my Substack. I'm killing it on there.